We're going to look at a story by Edgar Allan Poe titled The Cask of Amontillado. Edgar Allan Poe, of course, is very well known for writing Gothic type stories. And by Gothic, we mean that there's always or usually a supernatural element. We have this creepy sort of setting. It's in an old castle or a dungeon or a cave or someplace like that that's sort of dark and creepy. And usually there are some unexplained things that are going on in the story, some sort of supernatural element as well. And of course, many of his narrators are deranged, crazy in some way, and very often there's a murder or something of that sort, that something bad happens to one of the characters in the story. So we have much of that involved in this particular story as well. It's very typical Poe in that sense. We're going to look at a few passages as we go through this story, so you can follow along if you happen to have it in front of you, and we'll take it a little bit at a time and talk about it as we go. Look at the very first of it. The 1,000 injuries of Fortunato I had borne as best I could, but when he ventured upon insult, I vowed revenge. So what's the motivation for the whole story? It's about revenge. And this is not just a crazy person who does this, a random act of violence here. This is someone who's getting revenge for something that he's had done to him. And we're not told exactly what has happened here to predicate this. We don't know what's going on in the past, but we do know he feels he's been insulted, and now this is his way of exacting revenge. And remember, at the time here, we're talking about a time when honor was often upheld by the two men going out with dueling pistols and walking 10 paces each direction and firing at each other. The term honor itself was something that people were willing to risk their lives over. So when we read a story like this and think, the guy's been insulted and he's going to kill somebody, well, yes, they really did that. And it was not all that unusual. They did have duels, and somebody did get killed quite often over being insulted in some way, or having the wife insulted, or a family member insulted, or something like that. It was not that unusual at the time. So that's what is the background behind our story. Our character has been insulted. He's going to get his revenge somehow. And look at the last part of the first paragraph. He sets some conditions for all of this. The last few lines of that first paragraph: I must not only punish, but punish with impunity. In other words, he has to get away with this. He doesn't want to get caught. So we can't walk up to him in the middle of the day and shoot him, or put a knife in his back or something like that and get caught by the police. He has to get away with it. A wrong is unredressed when retribution overtakes its redresser. He has to get off scot-free and not be put in jail or suffer any kind of punishment for it. And the very last line in that part: it is equally unredressed when the avenger fails to make himself felt as such to him who has done the wrong. So as part of the condition, he has to make sure that this person knows who's doing this to him. He doesn't want to just hit him over the head in a dark alley one night and the guy never knows who's done it. That won't do either. It's part of his revenge. He has to get away with it, and the other fellow has to know who's doing it. Let's go down a few paragraphs into the story itself, where we're told, this is about the fourth paragraph, that the character, the man he's meeting, wore motley. Well, what is motley? If you think of the Joker in a deck of cards, you get a pretty good picture of what this person was wearing. The idea of a Joker's outfit, sometimes called the court fool, where this multicolored jacket and the little cap on top that has the bell on the end of it, sometimes also called the court jester. And so the Joker that we see in a deck of cards is a pretty good representation of that.